Class, Dr. Michael Baptiste here. Most of you should know me by now, but if not, I teach the sports finance, research methods, and capstone course here. So basically, I'm the guy that you're going to come to, and by the time you leave here, you're going to know how to research, write a paper, APA, annotated bibliographies, journal articles. You're going to be able to leave here knowing if your boss ever tells you, say, go out and here's the topic, go out and find me information, and not just going to the internet, grabbing a bunch of Wikipedia sources and presenting them that could be fake news. You're going to be able to know how to use the school library, how to get peer-reviewed journal articles, which mean these articles that you're going to be using in all my different classes here, these three, have been reviewed by the peers. So we can take them as much as fact as we possibly can within each of those different majors. So basically, I teach for Upper Iowa here. This is about year 6. I teach for Grand Canyon University, and I teach for the University of Alabama. In Alabama, I teach the Class A certification master's degree program for teachers in sports management. I'm in charge of that program. I also teach for another company called Instructional Connections, where I go in with some of these large universities where they have maybe a couple hundred students, and I co-teach at Florida Gulf Coast University, University of North Carolina. There's a multitude of schools. Those are my two main ones that I do, but I'm pretty much in a master's program everywhere right now. So I live actually in Western Pennsylvania. I'm married. My wife's a kindergarten teacher, and I'm on the school board in the same district. And I have 3 children. My oldest one is just graduating right now from college up in Maine, and he is awaiting his acceptance for law school into Notre Dame, Georgia, Villanova, Duke, Penn State, wherever. We're still not sure. They're just kind of holding everything up. My middle son is 2 years away from graduating. He's pre-med, wants to be a surgeon. He's off to medical school. My daughter has her senior year, and she's pretty much the brains of the family, and she is possibly off to the University of North Carolina, Wilmington next year for marine veterinary science. So I have 3 kids that really took off to their mother and their brains and are doing absolutely fantastic. So in my free time, we have a lake house. Since my wife and I are both teachers, we spend our summers in the middle of the state where we have a boat and a house. We water ski, we fish, we four-wheel, all those types of things. But most of all, the thing that I think I bring to the course that the most is my about 27 years of business experience. I didn't come up through academia. I came up through business, and I've been doing this for about 6 years. So I've had a lot of victories, and I've had 5 times the amount of defeats in these different industries. I owned an indoor sports facility that was inline hockey, soccer, with outdoor soccer fields. I owned if you know anything about soccer, a classic soccer organization. But within this, youth soccer could bring in $250,000. There are some clubs that are bringing in $1 million a year. So I had 2 major businesses there and got out of that. I've owned sports retail stores. My last businesses were pizza franchise. I don't know if you have a pizza franchise around there called Fox's Pizza, but of like the 350 stores, I was one of the top stores in the area. Basically because I used a lot of these things that I teach in these classes on finance and marketing and leadership, and basically on customer service, which is so huge in all of these things. So in these classes here that I'm teaching, I think if I have anything else there, basically, like I said, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. So if you have any questions and you're ever thinking about getting that, I have a couple patents as well. I do that. And I just finished writing a book. So writing and research and I do a lot of different things. But anyways, in my classes, you're going to learn to write. And there is a framework of going through these. Sports finance, you're going to learn certain aspects of writing in that course to do the research, do annotated bibliographies. You'll find out what those are when you go through. What APA is, how to cite your sources, how to present the material, those and what a peer journal article is, those different things you're going to learn in this class. You're going to learn, I have some really neat things in here too on capitalism, socialism, some neat things with some, just to make you think. None of this stuff is to tell you the way the world is, but just to let you think on if you were building a sports facility now, would you rather build it in a capitalistic country society or in a socialist? And I want you to be able to make those connections. So that's sports finance. Then the next one here that we'll be teaching this term is also the research methods. If you're coming into the research methods without sports finance, you are way behind. So this is kind of the structure, and especially the capstone. I would not skip any of my courses before you get to the capstone. Even if it fits into your schedule a certain way, if you get into that capstone without having sports finance and research methods, you're going to struggle and potentially fail that class. So in the research methods, we'll be picking up a topic. It'll be along the same lines as the sports finance here, but in the sports finance, you're doing a team and you're doing some research on it. In the sports finance, you're going to be picking your own topic. In the research, in the capstone, you'll be doing a paper, an issue paper. So there's a lot of writing, 20-page papers, but you're going to be able to pick your topic. So it'll be something that you're passionate about. So when you're in these courses here, the main thing is don't wait to the last minute to do the stuff. Start thinking about your ideas, okay? And if you have questions, please reach out to me. In the discussion questions, make sure you get those in on time. Make sure that you engage, because those discussion questions and those points on that are so important to your overall grade. But most of all, it's reaching out to me and asking questions. I'm at my computer 7 days a week. With all my different jobs and everything, I have about between 250 to 300 students at any point in time. So I'm 7 days a week at my computer. So if you ask me a question, more than likely, I'm going to be getting back to you immediately. And if you've had me in the past, if you're coming into sports finance, I'm hoping this is your first time with me. So a lot of these things I don't think are taught in the other courses. So especially with the writing aspect of it. So please be sure to focus on it. When we're doing our annotated bibliographies, those are peer-reviewed articles in all the classes. That does not mean that you can go to Wikipedia. Anything on the internet can be manipulated, put there, and basically fake news. We don't know if it's real or not. But when something is reviewed by the peers in that stuff, in their respective, categories or of finance, of leadership, of marketing, whatever, it's a lot. It's more factual. Okay. So not to say that things won't change over time, but that's what we want to be focusing on, the facts. There will be certain things in these classes where you will want to go to the internet only to be doing some research on a specific team. Okay. So basically, if you have any questions, please reach out to me anytime. And I'll be putting these overview. I'll be every week before. Make sure you check the announcement section. I'll be going over the week of all the things that are due for all 8 weeks. Okay. So there's lots of communication here. I'm big on that. Make sure, I know I ramble in some of these videos. We're up to about 8.5 minutes, but there's key things that I'll be saying in these videos. So please do not overlook them. If you follow what I say in the overviews, you're more than likely to get the average student that does that gets an A in the class. And I can tell specifically who watches my overview videos and who doesn't, because I'll tell you a few little tricks and things. Then I'll look at your work and be like, they didn't do it. So I want my job is to see you succeed. I'm not here to tell you that I'm smarter than you or that, we're all equal here, and we're all equal whenever we do our work equally. It comes down to every individual student on how hard you want to work and what you put into it. Because if you put it in, you're going to get it out, especially with me, because I'll be fair with you across the board, but it's going to take some work. So any questions, reach out to me. If not, I will talk to you in the overview. Take care, class.